Hello, my name is Silvio Alejandro Valderrama, and this is my oral report. This report was made in order to share my experiences as teacher in the course Formores Formando, Time to Learn English, and how we felt at the beginning of the classes, while doing the classes, and at the end of said classes, where we were complete novices, and when we acquired more experience, and when we were more experienced. Through all the process, I was learning despite the anxiety and worries, making mistakes and having the children bored and annoyed with the classes. I always tried to make them have fun in the class and participate as much as they could, since I believe significant learning is one of the best ways to help students improve. I had to call a huge number of parents. At the beginning, I was troubled by just 15 students, and later I had to deal with 45 of them. And that day, I had to call a huge number of parents. I was shocked that roughly 30 of the 45 made it to the first class, and while classes went on, the number kept decreasing. I contacted a few more parents about the state of their children to see if they would still attend, and some of them did say that they wouldn't because of the actual classes their children had, but many others didn't even bother telling me anything. But doesn't matter, I had in the end 20 students, 13 girls and 7 boys. Some students were good at English and very participative. However, this was not all of them, and some of them seemed to be decent. It was difficult to deal with that because many of the students didn't turn on cameras, which was one of the suggestions that I had for them. I had to implement a point system and give them extra points if they had their camera turned on and such, and that worked to a degree because more students were activating their cameras, but not all of them. Many of the students liked my classes, sometimes they didn't, and I had to think about better ways of doing things to help students engage more with the classes. Sometimes I had problems with the platform I was using. Sometimes it had to be Zoom, sometimes it had to be Jitsi because many students had problems with connectivity. It was a little bothersome. The main problem at the beginning of these classes, it was time management. It was difficult for me to do all the activities that I wanted to do during the course. My problems were the assistance. Many of the students had dropped the classes for apparently no reason. I don't know why. Parents never contact me about why the children were dropping or what could I do in order to improve my classes. Not much feedback was given, and in the end, the problem was the students did not read. I gave them exercises which only required them to follow instructions that I gave them, but they ignored them and they did things however they wanted. What helped me a lot to improve was the constant practice. That helped me fix the problem of time management, but the dropping of the students was difficult to deal with. I had to contact some parents about that and told them the children had stopped coming to classes. Some of them told me it's because they were at the actual classes at school, and while it was understandable, they did not communicate this with me because that's the way they should have done it. And the problem with the children is they didn't read, not follow instructions. That was difficult to me deal with, and I hope I fixed it by accompanying the students through explicative videos, asking questions regarding the video topic to help them understand, and as well as the exercises. Now, continuing with the practice, I consider that it's very relevant for training of a teacher because at the beginning you feel insecure, inexperienced, and anxious. You don't want to do this, you don't feel prepared to do this, and so you prepare a plan or reflection, and after reflection you learn how to slowly but steadily improve. And as you do this, you acquire more experience and you learn to do better lesson plans and activities to keep the children engaged in the classes and overcome the things like the insecurity, the anxiety, and all that stuff. always tried to include all the students and help them feel part of the class, so they never felt excluded. Of course, there were some good students that I wanted to prioritize, but I also had to take care of the not so good students and have to help them grow and learn. I always liked the significant learning approach and tried to make my classes about making the children enjoy my classes so that they could learn as much as possible, because when you like something, it tends to stick in your head. Well, another issue I had is that the companions I had, they were not very participative in the creation of the activities. I had to do most alone, so in the end we had to separate, and I had to do it alone. And while it was maybe a little more tiresome, it required a little more time, it's better if pairs. I was trying to apply the favorite activities of the students, like riddles, guessing and drawing. They liked very much the activities where they had to share characteristics of animals, and I would draw an animal using some of those characteristics and shared it on the WhatsApp group. They really liked that activity. Okay, my practice teacher, the teacher Gabriela, she was very helpful to me. At the beginning, well, I was a little more by my own, but when I had this huge amount of students flood my classes, she was really helpful, giving me very good advices about what to do in order to improve and to manage time better and stuff like that. I always believe the way evaluation is used is bad, because it does not help the students grow and learn what they know they did good, but it's rather used as to make them feel bad and discourage them of improving, because you are not telling them what they are doing good, but only what they are doing bad. You should always try to say you're doing great, but you could improve in such and such area. So I always tried making different types of evaluation to see how their learning was. The relationship. Probably, I am not actually quite sure. I tried to be a nice and friendly teacher, but tried to be a little stricter yet flexible, because being friendly to the students didn't help as much. And while I was strict, I tried to understand. I tried to be understanding, because some of them had excuses and they were completely valid. I tried to give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe it was true or maybe not, I don't know. As long as they gave me prior notice about them having an excuse. Okay, so about the activities. I tried to do different activities. Sometimes I had to repeat some, and I did it because they were the most effective ones. They were like the ones that the students liked the most. And well, that was a success, not as much, because the students kept ignoring rules about, for example, raising their hands and stuff like that, or having the camera on, or obey the teacher instructions. But okay, they're children. They tend to do that, so it's not such a big of an issue. I try to randomly choose groups in case I did group work. Some of them really wanted to be with their friends because some of them were friends, so I allowed them to, and chose randomly the others. Another problem I had is that I used Spanish too much at the beginning because I was not very sure about their level, but teacher Gabriela said in the feedback that I should use more English, because she was pretty sure that the students were able to manage English. I also accompanied with a little Spanish to balance things and that they could understand. This was a very unique experience, learning how to prepare classes, give myself feedback, and teacher Gabriela through reflections, and learning how to deal with the children, small groups of children, medium groups of children. Sadly, I couldn't learn how to manage a big group of students due to the assistances, but it's no issue. Other issues that many parents don't have as much time to attend these classes as compared before the pandemic, for reasons of maybe feedback on their children. However, this can still be a reality in the future. Like, this exercise has helped me learn the basics about teaching and classroom management, to be more confident while teaching, and to know what to do in an unexpected situations like the lack of motivation, shyness, disobeying of rules or orders. Or my suggestions would be that parents get more involved in the learning process of their children, because they can give feedback compared to their children. And in the part of suggestion, one assessment teacher might not be good enough to help out all of the Uniamazonia students to improve their lesson plans and teaching methods. So I'm pretty sure teacher Gabriela managed to do that goal, but it may have been a little too exhausting for her, since she also teaches other Uniamazonia students. So either a dedicated teacher for teaching practices or an auxiliary teacher that can help the Uniamazonia students improve more. And that's all. I'll leave you with some annexes